Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham, and I've lived in 115 countries. 115 countries, and I've been doing this nonstop for 26 years. I don't have an apartment or home inside the United States. I live as a traveler. I'm in a sense homeless, but I'm not really homeless, right? Okay. There's a word called Diaspora. It's Diaspora. Diaspora. It means the distribution of people around the planet. Like slavery created a lot of diaspora. They spread the genetic juice around the planet because of slavery. But right now, because of the Russian-Ukraine war, every possible person that can ever get out of Ukraine is doing it right now. And they're using it as the greatest excuse to immigrate to other countries, And I highly doubt that any of them are going to return, okay? Because in a way, the cost of living in Ukraine was about like Guatemala, and Russia's more like, I don't know, maybe Mexico, but it's very close. It's closer to the United States cost of living than it is. So you got a very poor country that had before the war, 1 million people were leaving the country and trying to get to some other place. And probably half of those were going to Russia. So don't think that this war is a war. See, they were prior to a certain stage Russian, right? Before the breakup of the Russian Union. So, but what I'm meeting is a lot of Ukrainian people here in Cyprus, which is kind of I don't know, Indian, Arabic, Turkish. I don't know what you want to call this culture, okay? I think more or less in the past it was populated by any kind of pirate that wanted to claim this island for a place to use for attacks on other nations. But very good location for attacks on the Mediterranean Sea. Okay, but nonetheless, I don't really care about Cyprus, but I do care about the Ukraine people I meet because I instantly feel guilt, okay? As I understand it, the United States has sent over $61 billion to Ukraine, and right now, in this lame whatever you want to call it situation where President Biden he's out of office. Basically, he's mentally, emotionally, physically, he's not even a thing. They're sending more weapons to Ukraine. And I want to apologize to the people of Ukraine. I want to say I am sorry that you are caught up in this military-industrial complex of the United States and Western Europe. All these countries are using this country as a way for them to make money. So we give $61.4 billion to Ukraine, but we don't give $61.4 billion to Ukraine. We give $60.14 billion in weapons. You have to turn around and take that money and buy weapons from the United States. So it's a milk it situation for the industrial complex. And there's two presidents that excuse me, warned Eisenhower excuse me. It's not assistance. It's a money transfer of weapons, and all it's doing is guarantee that this war can go on long before what it should have left. It should have been over with, okay? And there's no harm in Ukraine becoming part of Russia. Actually, it'd be like Mexico being taken over by the United States or Canada being taken over by the United States. They would become a more prosperous country. But Ukraine is, in my opinion, a kind of a mafioso country, and I do believe that Zelensky has milked this for every penny he gets. I believe that Donald Trump will end this war within 30 days after he's in office, just by cutting off the nipple, the tit to Zelensky, the ever so mean and despisable leader that will let all his people die so that he can look good. Okay, but hello. In the farewell, Dwight D. Eisenhower, January 17, 1961, counseled the public to beware of the military-industrial complex. That means that there's a partnership between industry and the military to make money. Okay, it's one of the biggest things, and I hope this Doji thing gets rid of about 30% of the U.S. military budget. And it's highly possible because we have two people that don't need money managing it. You should have really the president of the country never need money. Like almost every one of the presidents, like I think Obama came into office worth hardly anything and left worth like $200 million. How they do this, I have no clue. But it's all corruption. And the United States is corrupt, in my opinion. I'm ashamed of the country, but I've been apologizing to these Ukrainian people because, but don't get me wrong, they wanted to leave the country, so they actually like this excuse, and they're not angry at the United States. They're not angry at things. They're not even angry that their friends are dying. I think so every wealthy enough to leave the country, willing to live as an outlaw person has left. But Eisenhower described the what he called as the military-industrial complex. But I really think right now there's a business. The military starts a war, gets a war. The CIA starts a war. The industrial people pay the politicians to support the war. So all the money that's coming in to the politicians comes in normally from the pharmaceutical companies or the military industrial people, the industries that support war, and they pay to put the politicians in office, and then they cause a war that in turn makes them make money. So you got your politicians, and then now even the advertisers are all controlled by the corporations so that they can stop any if you see in COVID-19 and all these things, all the advertising was stopped that was even contradictory or anybody that didn't agree with the industrial complex was banned. I mean, the president of the United States, the future president right now, Donald Trump, was kicked off of Facebook. And in my opinion, Zuckerberg should go to jail. He's by far an evil person. It's not freedom of speech. I really thank Elon Musk for making the world a better place. But one of the interesting things is George Washington, on his farewell speech, like Eisenhower, he warned the United States of, let's see, how do you say that? Washington counseled the public to be wary of foreign influence. He argued impartial commercial treaties, but entangling arrangement. And that is what NATO is. That is, NATO is an entanglement that can put us in war. And the United Nations is turned into a kind of an evil organization. Basically, the evil majority try to control what happens in the world. I mean, right now, the ICC, I don't know what it is, some organization is trying to have Netanyahu or whatever, the president of the president of Israel, arrested. So all this stuff is all about money, and I'm going to Israel here on December 9th. It's, I don't know, the 5th or something of December 2024 right now. But I'm forever will be apologizing to Ukraine. I have been in Ukraine 3 times in my life, and I really love Odessa, and I would have went there right now, except it's just way too cold. Okay. But I hope the war ends with the least amount of people dying. I've been told that the Ukrainian troops have been told just to hold on and sit still until think. But if you want to know what's going on, RT News and Sputnik News are two sources that you can download and kind of look at it from the Russian perspective. And right now, there is no truth whatsoever in any of the things. One of the reasons why I'm going to Ukraine, I'm going to Israel, is because I believe right now that the only type of journalism that can be of any value is when you are supported by independent people. I have Patreons and I have a GoFundMe page, and it should be donations, say less than $1,000, something that couldn't influence you. And you should, as a journalist, you should not need money, because that, and again, skews the thing. But whenever you see an advertiser being put on YouTube, there's advertisements automatically put on my YouTube channel against my will or with my will. It doesn't matter. And because YouTube has to make money. But I don't have any sponsors other than Patreons and things. But this is so that I am not indebted to anybody. And that's the type of journalist that's going to be, I hope, successful in the future. But anybody that is being sponsored at all, like I'm really discussed it a lot of times with Thomas Delarian, which is a very good health person, because he's constantly talking about his sponsors. And this doesn't make me happy, as either does it when, I don't know, there's two or three of these guys that always are stopping for a break. Even Bill O'Reilly has to talk about his sponsors. How much money do you need before you are satisfied and you can just look at it as doing the public good instead of having to be holding to an advertising? Anybody that you care about what they think you are a slave to them. Sun Tzu said this. Anybody that you care about their opinion is your master. Okay, but I apologize to Ukraine because the United States has caused, I don't know, say 500,000 to 1 million people to die in the effort for the United States to make our industry to make money. It's just a war. I think the Israeli war, though, is really like an evil feud between two religions, okay? And there's 400 plus million people that want like 8 million people dead. And all the world is ganging up on Israel because I have no clue and I don't understand it. Israel has a right to live, as does anybody. And there are no refugees in Israel. That you're no longer a refugee after about 5 years. After that, you're living there. I dated a United Commission, High Commission for Refugees person, and we were literally, I was in Mexico, and this girl, Gina, took me to this village, and we stayed in a 5-star hotel, and we visited a refugee. And I said, well, how long have they been a refugee? I thought they were just like, 2 months or something. She said 20 years. I about shit a brick. I said, what? They owned their own business, and we were making this trip. There's nothing glorious or noble about the United Nations. The United Nations High Commission for Refugees is an evil source. People should not have a benefit from things. There's so few asylum seekers. I would say in any country, maybe only if you're a political or a policeman, a politician, anything to do with the government, yeah, you can be hunted down. But just the average person, come on, give me a break. Okay, I apologize for Ukraine, for the United States, as I feel personally responsible for what people do in my name. And I will talk out against them. Joe Biden and his dynasty, as long as the Clinton dynasty, are evil. And they have caused, along with Obama, they have caused more problems in the world than they ever, they didn't solve anything. If you can see between President Clinton was pretty good. His wife is evil. Joe Biden is evil. And you can see it just, and it's just so obvious. Kamala Harris is evil. Stand up for your country. Stand up for what is right. I'm a global citizen. I really, truly recommend that you look at it as the only way to solve the problems of the world is to have the balls to stand up and say what you believe in. If you are editing your opinion, you are the slave to that person. I'm Andy Lee Graham. Become a Patreon or join my GoFundMe page to help me. I'll spend the next almost 7 to 8 weeks in Israel. I'm here and you're not. Why not?